Good morning, beautiful people. It's Wednesday and time for Wisdom Wednesday. So today I want to share with you a little lesson that came to me from Agape Stassinopoulos. And if you don't know who that is, she's Ariana Huffington's sister, an author, inspirational speaker. She's quite a powerhouse, and her main message is love. So I happened to hear Agape on an interview, and she said something that made an impression on me, and that is what I want to share with you. She said in that interview, she said a lot of things, but the one message that stood out for me was this idea that we must know our linchpin. So let me explain what a linchpin is. A linchpin is the pin that is inserted through the end of an axle or a shaft. It's the thing that holds the entire unit. All the elements of the wheel are held together by the linchpin. So by definition, a linchpin needs to function really well to hold everything together. And when she said, know your linchpin, what Agape was talking about was this idea of what is it that you need to do that holds your life in balance. So the way I look at it is, what do I do in the morning to get my day started, which if I didn't do would be the linchpin that falls apart. If I don't do that thing in the morning, then my whole day, the structure of my day, my life, my sanity, everything falls apart because I haven't made time for that one important thing. For one of my clients, it is writing her morning pages. That gives her a sense of sanity and gets her day off to a wonderful start. So she really swears by morning pages. Another client of mine, she lights a candle and takes 7 deep breaths. 7 is an important number to her. So she takes 7 deep breaths as a way to center and calm and begin her day in a meaningful way. For another client of mine, it is reading a couple of inspirational passages from one of the books on her bookshelf. So there are different people who have different linchpins. My question to you is, what is your linchpin? As long as you're not jumping out of bed, grabbing your cell phone and scrolling through email or your Facebook feed, that is a great place to start. If you're doing that, I would caution you to change that habit. Because when we jump out of bed and grab our cell phone, opening up email or our Facebook feed, we are diving into the agendas of the world outside. We're not making time for what's important to us, what nourishes our soul, what feeds us, what anchors us. And that is an invitation to being pulled by by what the world is asking of you, but by what the world is demanding from you. So for me, and this has taken a long time for me, it didn't start out as all these practices, but over time, I have come to have a structure to my morning routine. The very first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, as soon as I brush my teeth and wash my face, is I make my bed. I've done this since I was 6 years old, and I don't know what it is to leave my bed unmade. So that's the first thing I do. I make my bed. And once I've made my bed, I hydrate. I drink several ounces of water because my body has gone without water the entire night. And so my first blessing to my body is hydrating it with enough water. The third thing I do is meditation. I meditate for a whole hour. It didn't start out as a whole hour. It started out as 10 minutes. Then I moved to 20 minutes. So it has gradually become 60 minutes over time. I'm not saying any of you have to do that, but do whatever feels right to you, and depending on the time you have to give to your morning practice. I also then read a couple of inspirational passages from favorite books of mine as a way to get centered and align my mind with right thinking, with the divine mind. So then I go and make breakfast, which is usually a green smoothie. So these are practices I have developed over time. I started with one and then I added and I built upon them. So they've come to be what it is today, over the course of time, but it didn't always start out as all these practices. But if I don't do my morning meditation, or if I don't say my prayers, or if I don't do some amount of inspirational reading, then I just dive into the agendas of the day. My day goes off track. I've seen it happen more than once. So I become frustrated. I'm a little more irritable. I become anxious over certain demands I'm not able to meet. I'm not in a place of alignment and calmness. So over time, I have structured my life in such a way that I make time for my morning practices before I begin any client work, before I dive into replying to emails that have come in the previous day, before I start writing a blog post. Everything that I do has to wait until my morning practices get done. So what is this linchpin for you? What is it that holds your morning together? And if you don't know what that is right now, that's perfectly all right. But it's time to begin to look into it as something that you can do to nourish yourself, to feed yourself, to center yourself in a place of calmness and sanity before you dive into your day, before the demands of the world crowd your space and time. Because if your linchpin is in place, it holds the entire structure together. So know your linchpin. Take time to figure out what your linchpin is, as Agape so wisely advises us to do. So that's my little tip for you on Wisdom Wednesday. I'll be back tomorrow with another interesting little nugget for you to take away. Stay tuned. If you like these videos that I'm doing, share them with someone you know who will appreciate them. Leave a comment, ask a question, engage in some way so I know that it's of value to you. I'm going to keep doing these until the middle of March when I have some travel coming up, so I won't be able to. I'll be going overseas. But until then, I'm going to keep these daily themes going. So let me know if these are serving you well. And if they are, leave a comment, ask a question, or share them with someone you think will enjoy them. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.